Today we'll be studying about the electron displacement effects in covalent bond. Now chlorine is more electronegative, so this electron pair, the interaction between the pi bond and the electron pair present on one of the atoms. This movement of the pi electrons, we call it as delocalization. Hello my dear students, welcome back to session 5 on the chapter Some Basic Principles and Techniques in Organic Chemistry. Last class we studied about the fundamental concepts in organic reaction mechanisms, that is we learnt about what is the meaning of carbocation, carb anion, when is homolytic fission taking place, what will be formed, what is heterolytic fission, then what is a nucleophile, what is electrophile, etc. Isn't it? Today we'll be studying about the electron displacement effects in covalent bond. That is, in the covalent bond we know that is the two atoms which is bonded will give one electron each and they'll form the bond, that is covalent bond. If the electron is attracted more towards one of the species, for example, I'll take A and B. A is giving an electron, B is giving an electron, one bond is formed. So for example, if B is more electronegative, the electron cloud is more towards B and less towards A. We know that it's called as the polar covalent bond. Now, these electrons in the covalent bond can get completely displaced, okay, or it can behave differently when there is an attacking agent. So about that we'll be studying today, okay. So the first effect of electron displacement in covalent bond is called as the inductive effect, okay. Now what is the meaning of inductive effect? The permanent displacement of shared pair of electron. What is it? The shared pair of electron is getting displaced permanently, okay, along the carbon chain due to the presence of atom or a group of atom with different electronegativity attached to the carbon chain. We call it as inductive effect. To understand this better, I'll just take the example of CH3Cl. Now this is the covalent bond between carbon and chlorine. Chlorine is more electronegative, so it pulls the electron towards itself. So it gets the partial negative charge and the carbon will get partial positive charge. Now this is called as inductive effect. So there is a permanent displacement of the electron towards the more electronegative element, okay, or more electronegative atom which is bonded covalently with carbon atom, okay. So inductive effect is a permanent effect and also they are of two types, that is minus I effect and plus I effect, or we can call it as negative inductive effect and positive inductive effect. So we learn each one of them. First we'll study the minus I effect or the negative inductive effect. Now again, for example, CH3Cl we have taken carbon with 3 hydrogen and it is bonded with chlorine. Now chlorine is more electronegative, so this electron pair what we have here, two electrons what we have here, okay, which is shared by carbon and chlorine, is slightly more pulled towards chlorine. So chlorine gets the partial negative charge, carbon gets the partial positive charge. This effect is called as minus I effect. The electron involved in the bond, this covalent bond, is pulled more towards the substituent because substituent is more electronegative than the carbon atom. So if the electron pair is pushed towards the substituent, this is the substituent in the carbon chain. So if it is pulled towards the substituents or it is pushed away from CH3 group towards the chlorine, then we call it as minus I effect, okay. And for measurements of relative inductive effect, atoms or group having a greater electron affinity than hydrogen are said to have minus I effect. So if the electron affinity is more than hydrogen, then we call it as they are having minus I effect. And you can see NO2 group has got the highest minus I effect, then the cyanide group, then the acid group, then the ester, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, that is the halogen. Then we have OH minus, OCH3, C6H5 group, and then hydrogen. So if the electronegativity is greater than hydrogen, or electron affinity is greater than hydrogen, they all are having the minus I effect, or they pull the electron towards themselves. Then we call it as the minus I effect. Next is plus I effect, okay, or positive inductive effect. Now for example, if I take CH3 group is attached to an atom Y which is less electronegative than carbon. So now the electron is pulled towards the carbon atom. So this gets the partial negative charge and this gets the partial positive charge. Then we call it as plus I effect. Or I can also put it in a different term, that if the electrons are pushed away from the substituent, if the electron is pushed away from the substituent away from the substituent, then we call it as the plus I effect. So which are the ones which shows plus I effect? I can tell CH3 CH3 that is tertiary carbon carbocation, or I can tell tertiary carbon atom. Then I can tell secondary carbon atom, primary carbon atom, or the methyl group. All of them have a plus I effect. They push the electron away from themselves. Then we call them as plus I effect. Okay. So that's about the plus I effect. Next is the second type of effect called as the resonance or the mesomeric effect. Now what is resonance effect? The resonance effect or the mesomeric effect is when the polarity is developed in the molecule. What is it? The polarity is developed. That is two poles, one negative charge, one positive charge. So polarity is developed in the molecule because of the interaction of two pi bonds. There are two pi bonds which are interacting, or the interaction between the pi bond and the electron pair present on one of the atoms, adjacent atoms if it is there. Then the interaction produces a polarity in the molecule. This is called as resonance effect. Okay, or we can also call it as mesomeric effect. Now if a molecule has alternate single and double bond, such system we call it as conjugated system. For example, I can take benzene ring. Okay, benzene ring if I take, see, we have double bond, then single bond, again double bond, then here also double bond. But if you see, alternating it is, here you have a double bond, here single bond, again a double bond, single bond, again a double bond, single bond. So this type of a system, what do we call it as? Conjugated system. Okay, and in a conjugated system, there is delocalization of the pi electrons. What is this delocalization? I shall explain. And polarity is developed. This is called as resonance effect. Again, resonance effect is of two types. That is positive resonance effect, negative resonance effect. Or I can also call it as plus R effect or plus M effect, minus R effect or minus M effect. So we'll understand what are these effects individually with the example. Okay. So positive resonance effect or plus R effect or plus M effect. What does this actually mean? Now for example, this is the molecule of aniline. Okay. So I have NH2 group on the benzene ring. So what is it? I have, this is the benzene ring. Okay. Benzene ring, I told you there is alternate carbon-carbon double bond. And I hope you know benzene ring has got carbon, 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 carbon and carbon and one hydrogen like this. Okay. And here instead of hydrogen we have NH2 group, that time it becomes aniline. Now all of these are sigma bonds. Okay. That is, here this is a sigma bond, this is sigma bond, sigma, sigma, sigma. Here also this is sigma bond, sigma, 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 sigma. All of this is sigma bond. We have only 1, 2, 3 pi bonds. Okay, that is alternatingly with sigma bond. Here also it is a sigma bond itself which is present. So what exactly happens here is these two lone pair of electron wants to become the bond. Now, the two electrons are there, it will form one bond here. Carbon cannot have 5 bonds. Now, for example, here between the carbon and nitrogen, already one bond is there, one more bond is there. Here it has got 2 bonds with the neighboring carbon atom, one more double bond is there. Now, the carbon atom got 5 bonds, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can carbon atom have 5 bonds? No, it can have only 4 bonds. So, what exactly happens there is one double bond will become charge. So, these two electron comes as the charge here. Okay. Either I can put it as 2 dots or I can put 2 dots with the negative charge or just the negative charge. Okay. That is this carbon, one is its own electron, one electron from the neighboring carbon also it has got. That's why one negative charge we'll put, or we'll show it as a 2 electrons. That is one bond has become the charge. Okay. Now, this charge will not remain as it is, that will become bond here. Now, this carbon atom gets 5 bonds. Correct? No, here also one bond. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, one more with hydrogen, 5 bonds are there. So, again it's unstable. So, again this bond will become charge. So, this charge becomes bond, this bond comes as charge here. Okay. So, you can see here, this is the bond and this is the charge here in this position. So, now again this becomes a bond, this bond goes as the charge. Okay. And this charge will not remain as it is. This can again come back. Now, carbon again gets the 5 bonds. So, again this pair of electron goes, or the bond becomes charge. So, again it is coming back to from where it is started, but you can see the way the electron or the pi bonds are here. Here you can see 1, 2, 3 this way. Here how it is 1, 2 and one more 3 you will get. Got it? So, this movement of the pi electrons, we call it as delocalization. What is it? We call it as delocalization. Okay. Now, here polarity is developed, I told. Correct, no? The polarity is developed. You see, nitrogen, when it loses the lone pair of electron, it got positive charge. And the negative charge is also there, which is moving in the benzene ring. So, in the molecule, positive charge as well as negative charge, there is polarity which was developed. That's why we call this as resonance effect. And the substituent has got the positive charge and the electrons are moving around in the benzene ring. That time we call it as positive resonance effect. What is it? We call it as positive resonance effect. The substituent shows the positive charge and the negative charges are moving around in the benzene ring. Remember that. Now, in this effect, the transfer of electron is away from an atom or a substituent group attached to the conjugated system. This electron displacement makes certain positions in the molecule of high electron density. This effect in aniline is as shown. So, now what more you have to know is, now when the charges came, the negative charges on the benzene ring came, which are the positions it came? Now, this is the substituent. So, opposite position is para position, neighboring position is ortho position, remaining position is meta position. I had already explained to you all while explaining the naming, nomenclature, isn't it? Now, the negative charge came to ortho position, para position and one more ortho position on the benzene ring. Correct, no? And here the electrons are moving away from the substituent. So, it is plus R effect. Okay. The ones which are showing plus R effect are OH group, OR group, COOR group, NH2 group, NHR group, NR2 group, NHCOR group. All of this shows positive resonance effect, or anything which contains, the substituent contains the lone pair of electron which it can donate to form a bond, then it will show plus R effect. So, I hope you have understood this. Next, we will see about the negative resonance effect. Now, what is negative resonance effect? Here, the substituent which is attached, okay, is more electronegative. It pulls the electron towards itself. From the benzene ring, it will pull out the electrons. Now, to understand this, we'll take an example of nitrobenzene. Now, NO2 group is attached. Nitrogen has double bonded one oxygen and one coordinate bond is present, or I can tell the lone pair is donated towards the oxygen. So this bond is not at all involved in resonance. So don't have to bother. Okay. Now as the oxygen and the nitrogen has double bond, this double bond can go as charge. Okay. Now nitrogen will have only 1, 2 and 3 bonds which is there. So it is deficient of electron. So what this nitrogen will do is it will pull the pi electron towards itself. So now nitrogen has got 1, 2, 3 bonds and one coordinate bond. Correct? But as the carbon atom here lost an electron to nitrogen, it got a positive charge. Now because this got a positive charge from the neighbor, again it will try to pull. So this bond will go as another bond. So you are getting bond here and the carbon atom has lost electron, charge is in the positive charge is there in the para position. Now this bond will come as bond here and the positive charge will go to the ortho position. Then later what exactly will happen? From here the bond will come back here and this can come back to its own position to form the bond. So it will come back to the original form. So this here the delocalization of again what electrons are there? Pi electrons are happening, and in the benzene ring what is the charge which is moving? It's a positive charge which is moving, and the substituent which is attached pulls the electron from the benzene ring towards itself. If that is the case, then we call it as negative resonance effect or minus R effect or minus M effect. So in this effect, the transfer of electron is towards the atom or the substituent group attached to the conjugated system. Example, nitrobenzene we have given. So if the substituent which is attached is pulling the electron towards itself, then the positive charge will be in the ortho position, para position and in the ortho position of the benzene ring. Okay. Now the groups which show minus R effect are COH group, CHO group, carbonyl group, cyanide group, NO2 group. So these are more electronegative. They take up the electron from the benzene ring towards itself. Like this more you will be coming across in all of the chapters almost. So even if you have not understood this completely now, don't worry. Once again it comes in hydrocarbons chapter where I will show you the movement or delocalization of every electron. Okay, that is especially we have benzene chapter under hydrocarbons where you will be learning again about the delocalization of electrons. Okay, so don't have to worry if still the concept is not completely clear. Once again I shall explain in hydrocarbons chapter. Okay. So next we will be seeing the next effect, that is electromeric effect. In electromeric effect, there is complete transfer of the pi electrons towards one of the atoms which is doubly bonded or triply bonded. What is it? When there is a carbon-carbon double bond, for example, or there is carbon-carbon triple bond, there is complete transfer of one pair of electron towards any one of the atom which is involved in double bond or triple bond. In the presence of the attacking reagent, there should be something along, only then this transfer is there, otherwise the transfer will not take place. That's why it is a temporary effect. What is it? It is a temporary effect. This happens only in the presence of the attacking agent. Okay, that is the fully complete transfer of pi electrons to one of the atoms joined by multiple bond on demand of the attacking reagent. This is the definition of electromeric effect. Again, they are of two types: positive electromeric effect or plus E effect, negative electromeric effect or minus E effect. Okay. So the first one is positive electromeric effect. Now what exactly happens in positive electromeric effect? We'll take an example of H plus ion is the attacking reagent. Now when H plus ion is attacking, We know H plus ion is nothing but proton in which the hydrogen atom has lost the electron. It has only one electron, hydrogen atom. It has lost that to form H plus ion. Now, if this attacks this particular carbon atom, now the carbon atom has to give an electron for hydrogen to form a bond. Okay, because hydrogen does not have any electron at all. So what this carbon atom will do, it will take the electron from the neighbor and give it off to hydrogen. So a carbon and hydrogen bond is formed, but this carbon atom lost an electron, gets the positive charge. That's why we call this as positive electromeric effect. The carbon atom is getting the positive charge which was involved in the multiple bond. And this effect happens only when attacking reagent is there. Otherwise, there is nothing happening. Carbon-carbon double bond is quite stable. Okay. Next one is the negative electromeric effect. In negative electromeric effect, now attacking reagent is negatively charged. Now this comes and attacks one of the carbon atoms. Okay, for example, if it is attacking this carbon atom, here already cyanide has got one extra electron. So it will form a bond with carbon. Now this carbon cannot form 5 bonds, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, one more if it forms, it will be the 5th bond. So this carbon atom to which the attacking reagent attaches, that carbon atom will push the electron to the neighboring carbon atom. And the neighboring carbon atom gets one extra electron and gets the negative charge. This type of effect we call it as the negative electromeric effect. Here what happens? In this effect, pi electron of the multiple bond transfer to that atom in which the attacking reagent does not get attached. So the electron is pushed away from the carbon atom to which the attacking reagent is attached. Then we call it as negative electromeric effect. Next is the hyperconjugation effect. What is the meaning of hyperconjugation effect? In hyperconjugation, there is delocalization of the sigma electrons. The sigma electrons, that is the electrons which is involved in the sigma bond, gets delocalized. That is only those between the CH bond when it is attached to a unsaturated system or to the carbon atom with the positive charge, or it contains the unpaired or unhybridized p orbital is there, then hyperconjugation can happen. Now what exactly is this, we'll understand. Here you can see carbon has got the positive charge. Now between the carbon and hydrogen there is a sigma bond. Now this bond will form one more bond between carbon and hydrogen. Now when this bond is shifted between carbon and carbon, this hydrogen gets the positive charge because it lost an electron. Correct? So this effect is called as the hyperconjugation effect. If not from here, it can go from here. So there is no bond between this carbon and hydrogen got the positive charge, or it can be even through this one going form the bond. So you can see carbon and hydrogen no bond and the double bond is formed, hydrogen is getting the positive charge. Or I can also explain in the case of propene. Now propene, if I take carbon, hydrogen has got a double bond, carbon, this is the molecule of propene. In this you can see, now this is the carbon atom which the double bond is present. The neighboring carbon atoms CH bond, now this can form a bond, this will go as charge. So I can see that carbon, hydrogen, no bond. So this is positively charged. I have one hydrogen, here double bond carbon, single bond carbon, carbon gets the negative charge which is attached to the hydrogen. So this is again no bond is there between carbon and hydrogen. So it is hyperconjugation effect. This effect is also known as no bond resonance. No bond is there, so no bond resonance, or Baker-Nathan effect. Okay, so I hope you have understood what is the meaning of hyperconjugation effect. Okay, next is the methods of purification of organic compounds. Now many times when we have organic compound, they are not in the purest form. So it's very important to get it in the purest form. So there are different methods to get the purest form of the organic compounds when it is prepared. Okay. So which are the different methods of purification? It can be sublimation, crystallization, distillation, differential extraction, or it can be even chromatography methods. So we learn what exactly is sublimation and crystallization in this session, and we'll study about the other three in the coming session. Okay. So what is sublimation? Now what is the meaning of sublimation? When a solid gets converted into a gaseous state directly, then we call that process as sublimation. In the method of purification of organic compound, for example, if my organic compound is the one which undergoes sublimation, what is it? The organic compound what I have prepared undergoes sublimation very easily. Then the compound which is prepared, which has got impurities with that will be undergoing sublimation. You will make it undergo sublimation so that your organic compound will get converted from the solid state to the gaseous state. You will collect only the gases and you will get your pure organic compound, and the impurities are the ones which is non-sublimable. So the impurities will remain as it is. Okay. So you have an organic compound with impurities. Okay. This will undergo sublimation to get only the organic compounds. Impurities will remain as it is. Okay. So this is the first method in which your organic compound undergoes sublimation. Impurities will not undergo sublimation. Second method is crystallization. Now, what is the meaning of crystallization? What is the difference you require? In this method, the difference in solubilities of the compound and the impurities in a particular solvent. Now, for this one, the simplest method which we can give is, one of the organic compound what I want is the one which will crystallize out faster, and the impurities will not crystallize out faster. Now, I'll take the organic compound plus impurity. Okay. I'll heat this. I'll dissolve in a particular solvent. So first what we will do, we'll dissolve in a particular solvent where both are dissolving. Okay. Then we will heat it. Heat it and make it a saturated solution. Okay. Now, when I start cooling it, I'll stop heating and I will start cooling. The one which can crystallize out fast, that is my organic compound, forms crystals on cooling, and impurities does not form crystals. So, impurities will remain in the solution. Organic compound which we want will form crystals. Now, you filter this. When you filter, the solid substance what you have is the organic compound, and impurities are all in the solvent or the solution. So, I hope you have understood about the crystallization process. Okay. Next class, we will be learning about distillation, differential extraction as well as chromatography. Thank you, my dear children. I hope you have understood. Stay tuned, stay focused.